Hey guys, hope y'all are doing great today. This is week 6, I think, of the weekly food forest tours, and just going over some updates. Been working some this week. I had some more time to spend in working, so I spent a lot more time than normal, but it's not going to look like I got a whole lot done just because it took so long to do what I was doing. So I'll go through and show you what I've done a little bit. I've, most of the time I spent this week was grafting some fruit trees. This is the gate to my garden. So if you want an easy gate to build, you just use a zip tie. And actually, it came undone, but so it still works even not even connecting it. But you just cut a piece of fencing and kind of wrap it around one end of the post, and you can just leave the other end open, and it pulls right away. And it doesn't look super fancy or anything, but if you need something quick that does the job, it'll work. And so what I've done is grafted a lot of these fruit trees out. These are pears on this side. Different types of pear trees that'll hopefully do good in our climate in the hot and humid south. It gets cold here below freezing, but then it also gets up into the high 90s quite a bit during the summer, and lots of winter rain. Sometimes we get thunderstorms during the summer, but we can go long periods of time without any water, and then get a whole lot of water all in one, like a day, and then not get any water for a month or two sometimes. So trying to set it up for different ways to catch that water during the summertime when we want it, and then choosing for varieties that will do well with our humid climate and with the kind of range of temperatures that we get that can endure the really, really hot weather, but that'll also, not bloom so early that they freeze. So got a lot of trial varieties just to give a try. And these are mostly apples on this side right here. You can see them kind of sticking out. And what I've done is, you can see on the top, instead of like dipping it in wax or something, I don't really, it's a little harder for me to do that. So I've wrapped them just with parafilm on the tops of them to hopefully keep the scion, which is the part you join to the rootstock, from drying out. So they're grafted, and the graft is actually currently the graft is either, some of them are slightly buried, or some of them are right at. If you look in, like on this one, you can see just a little bit of the parafilm from where it's right at. The graft is right in the ground, and I did that on purpose because would like these trees to become on root fruit trees, and like apple trees that will send out their own roots and not be growing from the rootstock. So I have buried the graft so that I can add soil once these start sending out growth. They're so short right now that I kind of need as much sticking out as I can, so that the new growth can develop and not be completely buried right now, so that some of those buds will send up the new growth, and so it should be interesting once they start sending up a few inches of growth from the scions. Then I plan to add soil, just getting it from right here, and I'll plan to pull back this mulch if I can, and then add soil from the edges right here. Just dig it out more and add soil onto the top, and by then it'll probably, some of the soil from the bed may probably have slid down in here, so it'll probably need you probably have that extra soil there to use, so it should be interesting, and hopefully I can add that to this, and then those new growth will hopefully send out roots more readily from that new green growth this year once I bury that. So that should be interesting to find out. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully have some updates from that soon. Really excited to see how these do. I've got a little bit more grafting left, so I'll probably fill out that second bed. It's not completely filled out yet. Just that right side is still empty kind of in this section, so that's where I'll probably put the other trees I'll graft. The blueberries are kind of like frozen in time almost. they hadn't really changed. Oh yeah, and we'll just skip the grapes again this week because they hadn't really changed either. So nothing's budding out yet. These are some mulberries that I recently grafted this week. Oh yeah, I meant to mention how long I've been spending this week. This week was probably the most, definitely the most time that I've spent in a long time. I probably spent, let's see, just trying to estimate, probably about 25 hours maybe in the working this week. And so definitely a lot more time, and a lot of that was probably, if people are more experienced at grafting, this was kind of my first time doing that, so probably took me a lot longer just to get used to all that. But that was really interesting, and got a few grafted mulberries right here. Be interesting to see this one right here if it survives. Let's see. I can't find it right now. It's probably just slightly buried right here in this section, but yeah, I accidentally putting the soil back, I kind of hit it with the shovel, and so it bent it over, and I tried to readjust it and stick it back together, but we'll see how that one does. But I don't have very much hope for it, but it'll be interesting to see if it does survive. So I think I've got about 8 here that are grafted, and they're also similarly buried. These I was able to bury higher because there was a little bit more length on the scion wood, so I was able to have more of it already buried with some of the main scion wood still sticking out at the top. So they may develop roots a little quicker than the other ones, so we'll see. Here's some cherry trees I had actually grafted. That was my first grafts ever. I think I did those about a month ago maybe, and they were buried also a whole lot, if I'm remembering correctly. So they'll also probably, and let's see, it's probably hard to see them there. They're right down there, 2 of them, and we'll see how they do. It looks like one of them is budding out. If I can get close enough to it. It's maybe hard to see, but sticking up that bud near the top right here is starting to come out. Close up with my finger. Sorry about that. But that should be really interesting. Let's see if I can get a view from down here. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better. It's right there. That bud's starting to break, so another one is too right there beside it. It's right there, starting to break. So I'm thinking that the grafts were pretty good on those, so I'm excited to see. Hopefully they'll take. There's a little bumblebee or honeybee buzzing around. A lot of them out today. It was cold this morning. It was almost freezing, and now it's probably in maybe the low 60s. It's supposed to be in the high 60s tomorrow, so some of the buds are starting to break on these mulberries too, so that should be really interesting. See how they do. Looks like some of the buds on these grapevines, just maybe a handful, are starting to swell, so they may be coming out of dormancy soon. These are just young fruit trees right here. None of them are, I think they're figs and pomegranates right there. None of them have come out yet. These are where the peach seeds are planted, in this section over here, and this section right here. I don't see anything yet from those. Probably need to put something around it to protect it before the critters dig them up before they even sprout. Let's see, I don't think the pomegranates aren't budding out yet, so nothing quite yet from them.